All right, now we're going to finish up with these two, Max,
Yep.
as we're going to jump into it here. And I think we did forget to, maybe that was a chat from earlier. I think we forgot to get chat in the other one we had earlier today. But nonetheless, Max, the final two games on the slate: Oklahoma at Mississippi State, 6 p.m. Central, SEC Network, at the Hump. Big game here all of a sudden. All of a sudden, this one feels like it's got a little excitement to it with the Sooners playing well. Josh Hubbard goes off on Texas, 101-98 overtime win for the Bulldogs, who are playing very well right now. 5 in a row. Chris Jan said, "Not so fast, my friends. You guys are going to count me out." And this Mississippi State team, yeah, all of a sudden, this one's kind of exciting. And we are
Oh
recording this
yeah.
on Tuesday morning. Don't have a line, Max. Don't have an injury report. But Ken Pop's got this as a 1-point edge for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, this is a bit of a important one for the league's tournament resume as a whole here, because Oklahoma, what were they just in that bracketology that we pulled up? Were they the last team out, first team out, something like that? They're
Last
always
team in. Yeah.
last team in. They're floating. They keep every week they kind of rotate right around the bubble, and I know it's on the road, but man, a loss against 76 in Ken Palm, Mississippi State for Oklahoma, it's going to be a big ding on a already pretty light resume that's floating in the bubble. So for Oklahoma, their tournament hopes for the league, trying to get the double-digit teams in. This is an important game for Oklahoma. This is a game where if Oklahoma loses it, we could come back in March and be like, well, I mean, look at that Mississippi State game. That was a projected pick 'em, and they didn't get that one done. And they really could have used one more, top 100 win here on the resume. So, really, like, sneakily important for Oklahoma's tournament hopes. But then, I mean, hey, Mississippi State, they're even further back in the analytics and stuff, even more important for them. So, both teams here going to be playing with a little bit of early January desperation. I'm not going to lie, just given the resumes so far, Blake. So, you can circle the big ones that are on the Wednesday slate. But one reason why I think this one carries a little bit more excitement than maybe, we were circling the Georgia Auburn on Saturday, just saying like, all right, I think you should tune in. This is going to be a desperation type of game here. I'm saying that with this one. It may not be the highest ranked teams, but they're going to shoot a ton of threes. They're going to make a ton of threes, and they're going to be playing their hearts out. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at the team that so far offensively has maybe looked the part the most, like Oklahoma fits the bill when it comes to and I know we're one game in, but you look at their offensive numbers against Ole Miss, and I mean, you just kind of look overall, right? They've scored at least 85 points in their last 5 games. Some of that misleading probably when you're playing, Kansas City Stetson and the Delta Devils, but still, I mean, they've clearly found a groove offensively, and even really before that Arizona State game, they had sort of went on the road, scored 86 against Wake Forest. Yeah, like they've got it figured out offensively. Defensively, their numbers leave a bit to be desired, but I think some of that too is like, hey, you play Nebraska, the Zags, are going to bring your numbers down a little bit, just based on what those two teams have been this season. But yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of one of those where this does, and I think it's like Ken Palm to me has it pegged right. Like it feels like the ultimate toss-up game because you're looking at an Oklahoma team that is going to go on the road here for the first time, true road game in a month at Mississippi State. Not an easy place to win. The Bulldogs, who were very inconsistent for the first month of the season, have been really consistent for the last month or so. And again, Josh Hubbard coming off of just kind of a legendary game, which is nothing new for him, but it feels like Mississippi State has turned a corner kind of offensively a little bit too when you look at their numbers, right? I mean, look at their last 5 games: 82 against Utah, 87 against Long Island, 71 against Memphis, 94 Alabama State, and then 101 in overtime against Texas. So this might be a sneaky, high-scoring type game too, just based on where these two teams are at offensively.
Mississippi State is going to have open looks from three. That's the Achilles heel of this Oklahoma defense. They do not defend 3-point line well at all. They're going to make a ton, Oklahoma will offensively with Pack, and Xavier Brown's really found his shot lately. He's been shooting better than Pack over the past few weeks. But they also let up a lot. They let up a lot. So I think could be Sean says Hubbard 52 points. Sounds funny, but when you're taking, what did he take last game? 31 shots?
He might take 23 threes in this one.
If he takes 30 shots again and he makes more than 10, I mean, he's going to be up toward in the 40s easily. So, I mean, hey, you could see a Hubbard 40-plus point game here, just given the way the Oklahoma defense has been playing so far this year. But, Blake, one element to the game that we don't know yet is Matsura, the international kind of stretch four, 6'9", 220, Slovenian, I believe. Yes, Slovenian. He's been playing pretty well. He's been starting over the last few games. He's got 3 starts in a row. His O rating has increased a lot. He's been doing some good stuff, and the eye test has been passed. You can tell he's starting to get a little bit more comfortable, but he hurt his ankle last game, so I don't know I don't know the entire status of Matsura. If he's good to go, that's a big boost for Mississippi State. If he's not, you'd be looking at increased minutes for Achor, Brandon Walker, Davis Fleming, a little bit of Sean Jones as well. And then there was another element to Mississippi State. Chris Jans had said, got asked in the press conference. He said, a reporter asked Jans, hey, Jabari McGee posted kind of a cryptic Instagram post, kind of hinting that he was dissatisfied with something. And, Jans being a good coach kind of just gave some coach speak on it and whatnot. But I think that there might just be a little bit of something going on there in that Mississippi State backcourt, given the absolute green light, not 24/7 for Epps and Hubbard, where McGee might be feeling a little bit left out. I'm not sure. It was kind of a weird post-game press conference moment, but I thought I'd mention it.
Yep, worth noting on that. All right, your keys here, your pick for a fun one in Starkville.
Tough place to play, but this is a Oklahoma team that has done a not terrible job at traveling this year. They did open up first road game against the Zags and got zagged. But then you have the 6-point loss on a neutral against Nebraska that honestly, Nebraska's 6-point loss doesn't look too bad right now. They're beating everybody. You have the semi-away win against Marquette. You have the 20-point or 18-point win on the road against Wake Forest. This is an Oklahoma team that's been pretty dang good on the road. I'm going with the home team, though, here. I think Mississippi State's found something here, giving green lights to Hubbard and Epps. I'll go with the home team.
I had convinced myself I was going to take the opposite of whoever you picked, but then I talked myself into Mississippi State. So I'm gonna since I do it technically, I guess, as we're recording this, have the 1 pick advantage over you, Max.
You do.
Maybe yep. I should be strategic here and try to keep it close in the early going. I'm going to pick Mississippi State too, though. I think that's what I was going to say. I think they've just found something here, and it's at a tough place to play. And I know that where they're playing now, right? Like it's like this home game feels different than the ones they were playing early in the season, where they're slumping to try to beat New Orleans and close one against Southeastern Louisiana and all that. Like this is a different team now, and although I've gotten much higher on Oklahoma, so. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Mississippi State, but I think this is as close as it gets.
The 2 teams playing well. Not gonna lie, you know.
That's all you can ask for right now. So, yep. All right. Our next game, final one of the evening on Wednesday. Arkansas is at Ole Miss. 8 p.m. Central, SEC Network, at the Pavilion in Oxford. 2 teams that feel like they're heading in opposite directions right here.
Yeah.
Curious to see what the spread will be. We are recording this on Tuesday morning. We do not have a line on this one. But even for 2 teams that feel on the opposite ends of the spectrum, our power rankings this week, these 2 are on the complete opposite ends, basically. Arkansas, a 4-point advantage per KenPom. I would think, Max, if you look at what the projected number is going to be at FanDuel, honestly, I don't know that I expect it to be much higher than that – because I think this is kind of that one where we've seen this situation with Missouri, with other teams like that, where they are
Hmm.
about as in desperation mode as it gets.
Yep.
And then you get a home team, home game against a ranked team, and all of a sudden, you're playing for your season basically. It's different because Ole Miss, as we said, has just been a team that I just have not had any answers for. They played a lot of close games, though, early on 74-69, 75-74, 75-66, 65 or 63-58. But then you look at some of these recent results, and you're like, all right, NC State by 16, they lose at Oklahoma by 16 or by 14 against NC State, excuse me. Um, and now you're playing the head hogs here, who have been fantastic as of late, and really the entire season, minus a couple stretches here or there. But yeah, it's an interesting setup. Maybe a little more than meets the eye here for me on this game.
This one's kind of scary a little bit because when you look at kind of just the midweek slate, or even just Wednesday, right? Alabama Vanderbilt, what a matchup. Oklahoma Mississippi State, what a matchup. Kentucky Missouri, now with Missouri fully healthy, fantastic matchup. You go back to Tuesday, Georgia and Florida, wow, great matchup. LSU South Carolina, toss up in my eyes without Dean Thomas and Jalen Reed. Auburn and Texas A&M, there's going to be a million points scored in that game. Who knows? Tennessee, Texas, I feel pretty good about Tennessee. This game, so there's only basically two games where I look at it just to, you look at it right away. Arkansas, I'm like, okay, yeah, lock, right? Ole Miss has been a complete disappointment this year. They fluctuating with the lineup left and right. You have no clue who's playing what amount of minutes, and it's only going to be a, maybe 5-6-ish point spread. And I just feel so much more confident in Arkansas than 5-point spread. I feel like a
Yeah.
10-point Tennessee spread level of confidence, which makes me a little bit nervous because those games are always a little bit tricky. And like you said, with the desperation spot, I mentioned on our awards, I did a don't forget about these performances and losses. I think they found something with Patton Pinkins here. After, you bring in AJ Storr, highly, rated transfer, even though he didn't have the best year at Kansas. You know what he did at Wisconsin. You bring in Corey Chest, James Scott had a good year at Louisville, Kazak Jiffa. You bring in all these guys. You don't really hear Patton Pinkins talked about too much in the offseason. We certainly didn't. Look at his last two games, 26 minutes, 30 minutes. He's 7 of 11 from 3. He's got the 7th highest offensive rating in all of KenPom. I mean, the guy's been pretty dang efficient, has Patton Pinkins. So I don't know, similar to Mississippi State turning a corner, this could be that Utah game that, Mississippi State was down at half. They come back, they find something, they go on a run. Is this the game where maybe even though they lost by 16 to Oklahoma, did they find something there with Pinkins? And there's something to say there about the home court. I'm not sure, but I'm a little bit nervous, Blake, because I feel way more confident than just like a 5-6 point spread.
Arkansas's biggest maybe surprise for people this year is how good they've shot the ball. They're 39% from three,
Whew.
16th in the country. Now, they didn't shoot it as well against Tennessee, but again, a lot of it's Tennessee, right? Perimeter defense, no matter, again, whether they're not a top 5 defensive team or whatever, still, they're tough to make threes against. Um, and then you go to Ole Miss, and you look at where they're at right now in terms of the 3-point percentage defense. And really, I'll give you the percentage in a second, but you have to look at their performances against high major type teams. All right, we're going to go back to that first game against Iowa, where they had the 4-game losing streak and all that. Iowa shot 8 of 22 for 36% from three. Utah the next game shot 10 of 19 for 53% from three. Miami shot 11 of 25 for 44% from three. Now St. John's only went 4 of 22, but St. John's, I don't really read a lot into that. Next game against top competition, NC State went 13 of 32 from three for 41%. Oklahoma just went 11 of 28 for, you guessed it, 39%.
Yep.
So to me, this game could be very simple. Like if the trend continues that Ole Miss struggles to stop teams on the perimeter and those teams get good shots or simply just make shots from the perimeter, Arkansas has given us every reason in the world to believe that this is not a fluke, that they're sitting here, in the top 15 basically in the country at shooting 39%. So, they don't get to get all their points from three. But if there's enough of those opportunities available, the way that it has been against Ole Miss for other top teams or even power conference type teams, then Arkansas is, I think, in a pretty good spot. So,
Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention for Alabama was that they hadn't left the state of Alabama in over a month. That is the complete opposite for Arkansas. They've been all over the place. They play Duke in Chicago. Then they play Fresno in Little Rock. Then they play Texas Tech in Dallas. Then they play Houston in New Jersey. I mean, they've been bouncing all over the place. They played in East Lansing against Michigan State. It's a great non-conference schedule, very battle-tested, different neutral floors, away games. If it was a scenario where it was like, all right, we have Arkansas dealing with some injuries. This is only their second road game of the year. They've been in the state of Arkansas for the past 5 weeks. This may be a little bit of something different for a team led by youngsters. Now, you don't have it in the matchup. I don't see it.
All right, so you're picking Arkansas?
I'm picking Arkansas, and I'm pretty confident, and that scares me because if this spread is tight, I'm gonna really like the Hawks here. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think this is one too where it's like I could see this just, if this is gonna be the way it is for Ole Miss, Arkansas just coming out and just taking it to them. I could see that absolutely. Could also see the one where it's like Ole Miss is kind of fighting for its season. Maybe they pull off the upset. Maybe it's close. Don't know. But there's just nothing right now that gives me the confidence to pick anyone other than Arkansas. And, it's basketball. Upsets happen. Like I said, Ole Miss in desperation mode. That accounts for something. But Arkansas has been too good. And you just pointed out they've also been good even in settings where it's like, hey, away from home, that kind of stuff. I know they've lost some of those games, but they've still played well overall. So with Darius Acuff leading the way, front court playing well, it's just I don't know how I could pick against Arkansas here in this one. So, all right, there are your matchups for Wednesday night. If you are watching this on the videos here on the channel, you can check out the other games in separate videos for Wednesday night. Kentucky, Missouri, Vanderbilt, Alabama. Those will be in separate videos here on Southeastern 16. And, of course, support our fine sponsors and Collar. Been telling you about them. Got some great ad reads on the way. Great menswear over there. SEC16 for 16% off over at Ann Collar. Go check them out. And go check out our fine friends at the Yearly Company, Nashville-based fine jewelry brand, built on tradition, designed for meaning. Get that solid 14 karat gold, natural gemstones backed by a lifetime guarantee. Every Yearly Company bangle, custom size. Go get the sizing kit, 100% off using our code SE16KIT. SE16KIT, 100% off the sizing kit. Check out the Yearly Company and ROKFORM, ROKFORM.com, the world's strongest magnetic phone case. Extreme protection, super strong magnets, rock lock, secure mounting. Head over there for 25% off phones, cases, accessories, all that kind of stuff. 25% off SEC25 over at ROKFORM. All right, we appreciate you guys watching. As always, we appreciate our members, MVPs, and legends for sitting in live, sharing their thoughts on these matchups. We do that for all the SEC predictions this season. For SEC on SEC games, you have to be an MVP or legend. Hit the join button here, and you can join in and give your thoughts live as we record these each week. So, all right, we appreciate you guys, as always, and we'll talk to you soon at Southeastern 16, presented by FanDuel.